Last October, Daniel Day-Lewis announced that he would step out of retirement to appear in his son Ronan Day-Lewis's featured directorial debut, Anemone. The intensely private actor rarely makes headlines, let alone headlines involving his children. But this project has, by default, cast an unusual spotlight on one of the most important relationships in his life. With Anemone in theaters October 3rd, here's a closer look at the three-time Oscar winner's kids, their moms, and how growing up with a famously method actor may have shaped their lives. Does Daniel Day-Lewis have children? Yes. The Phantom Thread actor has 3 sons: Gabriel Kane Day-Lewis, Ronan Day-Lewis, and Cashel Day-Lewis. He welcomed his oldest boy with ex-girlfriend Isabella Adjani, a French actress, and his youngest 2 with wife Rebecca Miller, a filmmaker and novelist, who are the mothers of Daniel Day-Lewis's children. Isabella Adjani Day-Lewis had an on-off relationship with Adjani, a French actress who has won 5 César Awards, the highest film honor in France, for 6 years, starting in 1989 and ending before she gave birth to Gabriel Kane in 1995. As the story goes, she told Day-Lewis by fax that she was pregnant, and he faxed her back that they were over. Of course, the Gangs of New York star has never confirmed that version of events. Rebecca Miller, daughter of legendary playwright Arthur Miller. Rebecca Miller reportedly met Day-Lewis when he starred in the film adaptation of her father's play The Crucible. The pair married in 1996, the year the movie was released in theaters, and welcomed their sons Ronan and Cashel in 1998 and 2002, respectively. According to Day-Lewis, he and Miller, a filmmaker, decided not to work at the same time to ensure that their sons always had at least one parent at home. "That suits me," he told The Standard back in 2012. "I love being at home with them. I can't describe what it feels like to be a father in 2 simple sentences, but I can say that being apart from them for even a day feels painful and wasted sometimes." What movie did Daniel Day-Lewis make with his son Ronan? Day-Lewis and Ronan co-wrote the family drama Anemone, which Day-Lewis stars in and Ronan directs. According to the movie's synopsis, it explores the complex and profound ties that exist between brothers, fathers, and sons. Day-Lewis plays Ray, a former British soldier who spent 20 years off the grid. His reclusive life unravels when his brother Sean Bean shows up, dragging old secrets back into the light. Also dragged back into the light is Day-Lewis himself. Anemone marks his first role since announcing his retirement 8 years ago, after starring in The Phantom Thread. "As I get older, it just takes me longer and longer to find my way back to the place where the furnace is burning again," he told Rolling Stone of his time away. But working with Ro, that furnace just lit up, and it was, from beginning to end, just pure joy to spend that time together with him. The film, which also stars Samantha Morton, is in select theaters October 3rd with a wide release October 10. Who are Daniel Day-Lewis's children? Gabriel Kane Day-Lewis, b. April 9, 1995. Gabriel Kane spent the first 13 years of his life in Paris, France, with his mother, then moved to the Irish countryside to live with his father. Professionally, Gabriel Kane first tried his hand as a musician. "I wanted nothing more than to share my music with the world," he said in an interview with Ryan Perez, host of An Actor Despairs. He attended the prestigious Berklee College of Music in Boston, but found it really hard to keep up and dropped out. "I had no foundation of classical training whatsoever, and I could feel myself falling behind and really sort of despairing." Although he continued to pursue a career in music after that, he eventually gave up on the endeavor altogether. The vulnerability that comes with putting yourself out there with music that you've written from the heart. "I feel like I lack the ability to make myself as vulnerable as it takes to really make a career out of it," he said. Plus, he wasn't able to monetize his talents. "At the end of the day, I still had to make a living. The juice didn't feel like it was worth the squeeze." He transitioned into acting. "I was raised on good cinema," he told Perez, but has yet to book a meaty, star-making role. His buzziest part to date is as the kid in Terror on the Prairie, a low-budget movie produced by The Daily Wire, a media company backed by controversial right-wing commentator Ben Shapiro. Gabriel Kane has perhaps had his greatest success so far in modeling, starring in campaigns for Hermenegildo Zegna, Balmain, and others. Ronan Day-Lewis, b. June 14, 1998. Ronan studied art at Yale University, where he honed his craft as an oil painter and has had exhibitions of his visual art in galleries, solo, and group shows in places like New York and Hong Kong. "I'm drawn to this idea of projecting human emotion onto landscapes and places," he has said of his work. The sublime, to me, is the outside looking in. I sort of make sad paintings. But there's also a pleasure in longing. Without unfulfilled longing, there's no wonder. In addition to being a visual artist, Ronan followed in his mother's footsteps as a director, with short films including The Sheep and the Wolf. He co-wrote his feature directorial debut, Anemone, with his father, who also stars in the picture. We both would have killed for the chance to have this opportunity to work on something together, Ronan has said. And so once we found an idea that we were both really obsessed with, we fell into it. Cashel Day-Lewis B. 2002, another creative Day-Lewis child, Cashel, who uses they/them pronouns, is a violinist and composer who studied at Oberlin Conservatory with a focus on Irish trad music. Speaking with the Sunday Times about how their famous parents may have impacted their career, they said, "Oh, I'm sure it's a help. It has been a help in that my parents have had the resources to help me. I think it is a double-edged sword, because you never know how people are going to respond." Where did Daniel Day-Lewis raise his kids when they were young? Day-Lewis lived with Miller and their two sons mostly in Wicklow, Ireland, a setting that allowed Day-Lewis to decompress after work. His eldest son joined them for a few years as a teenager too. Being an actor is an emotionally exhausting job. You are a different person for months on end, and you live with that every day, he said in 2012. "When I get home, I need mentally to get away from stuff like that. It takes time. But being in Wicklow with my wife and children and what passes for a normal life really helps."